Yeah, it almost feels like there's this element of you get one of two options, right, to solve the problem. The first option would be global coordination where everyone trusts each other. We come together, we create a new standard, you write off the old debt, and we move forward under Bretton Woods 2, right, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But that involves complete trust of everyone at the table to kind of coordinate and agree together. The other option is trust no one. Right,
Right.
which essentially is what Bitcoin is. And the trust no one option means there's going to be no one in control. There's going to be no one in charge. And you actually don't need to trust anyone else because you have the full transparency to verify, kind of blocks, et cetera. And so you either get 100% trust or you get 100%, no trust. And I think you're probably in the same camp as I of like, I just don't see the world where everyone comes together and coordinates. And therefore, that would suggest then you end up in a world where trust no one ends up being the dominant kind of approach.
Yeah, and if you play that forward, so game theory predicts that um, the sum of everyone is better when people cooperate, right? Um, but what ends up happening is everyone cooperating creates an incentive for somebody to cheat, right? And so so if you look at that through Bretton Woods or anything else, even changing the gold reserve off so everyone cooperated, world's in a great place, and then U.S. can't pay Vietnam Wars and everything else off the gold standard, and causing people not to cooperate as much. For a while, that fiat currency backed all other world currencies, or 80% of world currencies, and it looked like it was going, but you started manipulating. At which point, every other currency has to manipulate too. The one has to manipulate to drive their jobs, Euro does, every other currency. So, and that problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you look through game theory, what ends up happening is you have cooperation, and then no cooperation, and then cooperation again, and no cooperation through a lens of the world. It's a simple example would be driving in the carpool lane, right? If the carpool lane is only used for people who carpool, it works really well for people who carpool. If a lot of people cheat, then incentive accrues to those people who cheat. And then if nobody catches those people that cheat, everybody cheats, then there's no carpool advantage, right? So looking through this whole thing through that lens, and countries and currencies and everything else is a really important thing. But I would totally agree with you. I cannot see. It's a small possibility, but it's improbable that governments today, this far away from cooperation, could come together and cooperate on a global scale that needs to happen to be able to prevent kind of a reset.
Yeah. So it's a pretty crazy world we're living in. What's the one thing that would change your mind? Like, is there something that could happen that could change your mind about needing to move into the deflationary world?
I don't think so. If technology is deflationary, and that's not, and when I say if, it is clearly deflationary, right? That's not a guess; it's a fact. And if technology is moving into every industry, then there's no possible way that we can run an inflationary world anymore without jerry-rigging a system, and that's what we're seeing, right? That's why I say it's way more important. Let's just talk about the changes that have happened, and rebuild a society that works better for everybody, using what the facts are clearly pointing out.